Hi, welcome to FoxSports.com's draft coverage. I'm Laura Oakman. He is Charles Davis. You are Brian Billick. We are talking. Yes, still are. We're only 8 picks in. We got a long way to go. Rams trade up for the 8th pick. Get a guy that a lot of people thought was the most exciting, maybe the best, most talented player in the draft with Tavon Austin. How much do you like him, and how much do you like him for Sam Bradford?
Well, I'm going to defer to my man here who had him at this spot. You thought Tavon Austin would go here.
I thought he was going to Buffalo.
You thought he was going to Buffalo, but it's the same spot. It's just a different team, and it makes sense. They need an impact. They lost Danny Amendola. This guy adds another dimension that Danny Amendola never had. The problem I have with the Tavon Austin, I think it's a great pick, great productivity. He's never going to be a number one. So you still need a number one guy. You even still need a number two guy. This is a great role player, but he's not the prototypical pro receiver that Sam Bradford's eventually going to need.
I think it's one of those good problems to have as an offensive play caller, but it still can be a little bit of a problem because you get a guy like this, you've got to game plan and make sure he touches the ball a certain number of times. But you have to manage his touches because 175 pounds, trying to get him through a 16-game season, and all the guys he runs away from in college, he won't run away from all of them in the NFL.
And be your punt returner.
And if you want to use him there, he also return kickoffs. He can do all of these things, but just wonder about him taking the beating throughout. All that being said, it's a different dimension in the slot. You know, we're used to quicker than fast in the slot. This guy's quick and fast. That's a whole different deal. I can see why they wanted to get him. He is awfully explosive.
Feelings right now on Sam Bradford. You have been one of those who has really said that you needed to see more out of him, has gone through a lot of systems, a lot of targets, a lot of lack of targets. Where are you right now in his development?
Yeah, it's time because he's been through the multiple offenses, he's got the same coordinator, same offense 2 years in a row. Had the best year he'd ever had, which is great, but they understand there's some pressure. Jeff Fisher passed on RG3. So it's one thing. You miss on a first-round quarterback, you're out of a job. You pass on a legitimate quarterback. So there's a lot of pressure on them. It's time for Sam Bradford to step up. I don't know why he shouldn't be that guy, and certainly Tavon Austin's going to help.
Yeah, we're kind of out of excuses in a sense,
it's
right?
Time.
I mean, it's time, but I will say this in his defense, nothing's been stable. I mean, nothing. Receiver, the only thing stable has really been Steven Jackson. You know, they drafted, who was the tackle they drafted at Baylor a few years ago? He was supposed to solidify things. Smith? Was it Smith? Whatever his name was. Anyway, poor guy. He's out of the league. All right. I mean, I don't know where he's even playing right now. So they've had to keep making these adjustments. But I think this is the most solidified they've been since he's been there. I love Coach's point. Same offense coordinator, head coach coming back. It's time.
I asked Sam about how many offensive line combinations do you think you had last season? And it was such a sweet, kind of innocent look of, I don't know. Do you happen to know how many? I had no idea.
I like that he didn't know, though, because it means he's not focused on making excuses elsewhere.
Either that or he's coached up pretty well.
Laura coached him up.
Yeah, she knows what to do.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for watching. Make sure for all your draft coverage to keep it logged on right here to FoxSports.com.